Good evening and welcome to Music of the Diaspora, the introductory program to WRJ Pacific District's Diaspora Diary series. I'm PD Program Chair Wendy Black. Of the estimated 14.6 million Jews in the world, over 8 million of us live in the diaspora. From Chile to China, South Africa to Sweden, and Panama to Pakistan, the Shema is uttered in places where we may not think Jews will be found. Later this year, the Pacific District Program Committee will start telling their stories of the diaspora, of our people whose experiences are far different from our own. What better way to kick off Diaspora Diaries than to introduce the beautiful, varied music of our people from all around the world? And there's nobody better to do that than one of our WRJ PD members, Cantor Janece Cohen of Colami in Tucson. Cantor Cohen, who was born on the Navajo Indian Reservation, spent 18 years serving congregations in California, New York, Hong Kong, and Sydney, Australia. She also has created a number of Jewish choirs around Tucson. Now it's my pleasure to introduce Cantor Janece Cohen.
Hi, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here tonight. As we begin this concert, I want to tell you that in the time of COVID and the time of our lives, we have to be flexible. So we are actually going to be welcoming two other cantors and saying that we are very sorry that Patti Linsky and Jenny, I forget her last name. Thank you very much, Sarah. Write it in the chat, please. Will not be able to join us due to illness. So Jenny Asher, but we have wonderful substitutes, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart for being willing to step in at the last moment and doing so with grace and charm. So our first cantorial soloist who will be singing is Heather Klein. She's from Temple Sinai in Summerlin, Las Vegas, Nevada. And she actually sang in our last concert that we did for the WRJ, but she is wonderful. She composes and she sings songs with such a lovely spirit. Welcome, Heather Klein.
Seid gesund. Stay healthy, be well. I heard this folk song many years ago when Theodore Bickel sang it live and really fell in love with it. And my colleague and friend, Cantor Becky Kittrick, and I from Sharon, Massachusetts, and I wrote an arrangement during the pandemic that we thought was something very meaningful. So here it goes. Seid gesund, morgen vor ihr Kopf. Hab schon aufgenäht, Hasakel, abgeschält im Kopf. Hab bekommen Scheinigkeit, zugenäht beim Kind. Und sich schein mit alle Schreinem durch der Wand zu stehen. I'm off to who knows where. I hide behind this mask I wear, not knowing what will be. Trapped behind this scene, so weary, all the days gone by. One day we'll embrace again, for now we'll say goodbye. dedicate to one another these candles shining bright. Ay, 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 ay,
Thank you so much, Heather. Our journey has been a very interesting one. Wendy Black contacted me months ago about this concert, and she told me her idea to feature music of the diaspora sung by women, and we tried to talk about, well, that'll be fun. I lived in Australia, I lived in Hong Kong, and then I thought about it and I thought, well, I was the only woman singing in any of those places, and most of the music that we sang was Zulzer and Binder and Naumburg and Debbie Friedman and all the music that we sing here. It was, we had to step back and take a look at how we wanted to do this. Do we want to do this by women cantors singing around the world? Because honestly, unless you're in America or in Canada or Israel or Australia, the chances of having women cantors is pretty small. There are a few in Brazil and a couple of other places. Did we want to use music of Jewish performers, women, composers? Did we want to just send out the word and say, we're doing a concert of music in the diaspora? What can you do for us? So that's kind of what we did. After looking around for special music, we found a number of women who sang Jewish music in different languages originating in different countries. Our next singer is cantorial soloist Marjorie Hochberg. Marjorie has been the full-time cantorial soloist at Temple Emmanuel in Tucson for the past 30 years. She grew up singing with all the choirs in her synagogue in at De Hirsch Sinai in Seattle, Washington, and from the age of 7 through high school. And then she studied music at Reed College and Hebrew at the University of Arizona. And the rest is history. She came to Temple Emmanuel while I was still the soloist there a million years ago, and she's been there ever since. Marjorie has a particular background in Ladino music. So Marjorie, it's up to you.
The first settlers to the American colonies were Jews from the Portuguese synagogue in Amsterdam. And they sang a grace after meals, Bendigamos, that is still sung today in Sephardic communities. The song asks us to bless God, the one on high, the ultimate one, God who created us. Let us give God thanks for the good things he has given us. The chorus is, let his holy name be praised. He is merciful to us. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good, and his mercy is forever. And then it goes on to thank God for the law, for food, finally for home. And the final chorus is in Hebrew. I'm sure you'll recognize it. Bendigamos al Altísimo, al Señor que nos creó. Démosle agradecimiento por los bienes que nos dio. Alabado sea su santo nombre, porque siempre nos ha piedad. Load al Señor que es bueno, que por siempre es su merced. Bendigamos al Altísimo por su ley primeramente, que liga nuestra raza con el cielo continuamente. Bendigamos vino por el pan segundamente, también por los manjares que comimos juntamente. Pues comimos y bebimos alegremente, su merced nunca nos faltó. Alabad al Señor que es bueno, que por siempre es su merced. Bendita sea la casa esta, el hogar de su presencia, donde guardamos su fiesta con alegría y permanencia. Oh, du Ladonai, ki le olam chasto. Oh, du Ladonai, ki le olam chasto. This is a Sephardic folk song called Tres Hermanicas, Three Little Sisters. And it starts off with three little sisters, but we learn right away that two of the sisters have married and one has been disgraced and she's sent away. And in the full version of the song, there are many verses about her being on a ship and on the sea and traveling over land. And finally, at the very end, she meets up with her true love. So the chorus is Blancas de ros y ramas de flor, which is roughly translated whites and pinks and flowering branches. And that little chorus shows up in every verse. Tres hermanicas eran, blancas de ros y ramas de flor. Tres hermanicas eran, tres hermanicas son. Las dos eran casadas, blancas de ros y ramas de flor. Las dos eran casadas, la una se perdió. Su padre con vergüenza, blancas de ros y ramas de flor. Su padre con vergüenza, arones la envió. Varones que lo supo, blancas de ros y ramas de flor. Varones que lo supo, a la María se echó. Thank you.
I believe that Marjorie is one of these people who has the soul of a saint. She is one of the warmest, sweetest people I've ever had the privilege of working with. And now we are actually partners because our two congregations have, I use the word merge, but we've become one, and we are now Kol Ami Synagogue of Tucson, Arizona. So it's been a pleasure working with her. Our next cantor is Elisa Rosenbaum. Now, Elisa graduated in May of 21 from the AJR, the Academy for Jewish Religion, and she has been in love with music her whole life, and she loves all different kinds of music. So Jewish music holds a special place in her heart. She began learning guitar upon her enrollment at AGRCA in 2016 and has since written numerous original songs, especially liturgical, and is working to produce her debut album of original Jewish music. This piece that she is singing today, she is singing with another Tucson girl, Cantor Bryce Megdal, who graduated a couple of years ago from AJR. And it's kind of in the form of a bossa nova, but it's beautiful. And they composed it. She composed it, and the two of them are singing it. So we have Cantor Elisa Rosenbaum and Cantor Bryce Megdal.
Hi, I'm Cantor Elisa Rosenbaum, and the piece you're about to hear from me is my original Shalom Aleichem. This piece started in the fall of 2016 after I had just started learning guitar, and it came to me as a simple melody, but I didn't think it was finished yet. So it went to the back burner for a little while until the fall of 2018 when my brother and sister-in-law were getting married. My sister-in-law comes from Brazil, so I started to listen to some Brazilian music and got really inspired by bossa nova styles, the counter melodies and counter rhythms that they have. So I started to take that back to this original melody that I had written, and I found that the counter melody and the counter rhythm added a real sense of the awe and mysticism that I wanted to evoke with my Shalom Aleichem. So I hope you'll enjoy this original Shalom Aleichem, sung by me and my good friend Cantor Bryce Magdal.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Kadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Zeichem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mimelech Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yai Dai 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 Yai Dai 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 Yai Dai 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 Yai Dai 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 Yai Dai 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 Yai Dai 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 Dai.
I remember when little Bryce was a fourth grader in the Tucson Jewish Youth Choir. I'm so proud of her. So our next cantor, Jacqueline Raffi, was ordained as a chazan and earned her master's in sacred Jewish music from the Academy for Jewish Religion in California. And her master's thesis, she conducted original field work in the area of preserving, notating, and disseminating Persian Jewish prayer melodies. I have to thank Cantorial intern Sarah Bollt for introducing me to Jackie. She is going to present 3 pieces that are uniquely Persian, and I have never heard Persian Jewish music before, so I think this is wonderful. The 2 of the pieces are pieces L'Chadodi and Hashkivenu, and then she wrote a Hine Matov in the tradition of Persian music. So you can see how it is approached from a Persian point of view, that old chestnut that we all know, Hine Matov. Cantor Jacqueline Raffi.
L'Chadodi imagines Shabbat as a beloved bride. This is a melody from Tehran, Iran, which I learned from Isaac Budai, and it is one of several Persian Jewish melodies I will share this evening from my thesis project. Likrat kol
I can tell you that she also was the first woman to ever sing at the senior center at the Iranian Jewish Senior Center in Los Angeles. She was the first woman cantor to be able to sing for them. And in this performance, she was 8 months pregnant. We should all have looked that good.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu V'hamidenu leChaim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu V'hamidenu leChaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, v'taknenu b'etza tova milvanecha, v'hoshienu למען שמך והגן בעדנו. והסר מעלינו אויב דבר וחרב ורעב ויגון והסר שטן מלפנינו ומאחרינו. ובצל כנפיך תסתירנו, כי אל שומרנו ומצילנו אתה, כי אל מלך חנון ורחמתה. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
a different take on Jewish music. It always fascinates me when people can sing and not have the same 1, 2, 3, 4 rhythm that we're used to. It's so beautiful, and so free. So our next, and I started this with so because I always tease her. She starts a lot of her sentences with so. Sarah Bollt is a cantorial soloist for the last 10 or so years, but she decided 3 years ago to go to cantorial school. Normally, they don't let a cantorial student intern with the cantor they grew up with, but I was lucky because I was the only cantor in Tucson. So, in order for her to be able to intern at a congregation, she had to intern with me. And it's been such a blessing to have her. She spent her early years in Southern California in the high desert, and they moved to Tucson when she was in middle school. And she's been singing in Jewish choirs ever since. But she graduated from the U of A, the University of Arizona, with a degree in special education with the emphasis in educational interpreting for the deaf. Um, she worked in that field for 11 years and then decided to really jump into cantorial work, which is a gift to the Jewish community. And she is currently in her 3rd year of cantorial school and is serving as cantorial intern and cantorial assistant. And quite honestly, we wouldn't have had this concert tonight if she hadn't been my assistant, because I'm a technological Neanderthal, and every single thing that we had to do, it was, Sarah, can you help me do this? And she's amazing. So not only is she an amazing singer, but she's an amazing person and friend. So Sarah, take it away.
Ya Ribon Olam is a traditional Shabbat table song sung on Shabbat afternoon when we gather together to study and sing and eat together before the end of Shabbat. And this is a traditional Iraqi melody. Ya Ribon Olam ve'al maya antum malka melech malchaya. Ya Ribon Olam ve'al maya antum malka melech malchaya. Ovad gevurtech v'tim haya shefa kodameh lehachavaya. Ya Ribon Olam ve'al maya antum malka melech malchaya. Shvachin asadeh tzafra veramsha lachela hakadisha divra konavsha irim kadishim uvnei nasha chevat berave ofe shema. Ya Ribon Olam ve'al maya antum malka melech malchaya. This is a popular Yiddish song, Alle Brider. Alle Brider means we are all brothers, and in the shtetl, times were often rough, and when they came together for joyous occasions, they would sing songs and sing and dance and be happy. Und wir seien alle Brüder, oi, oi, alle Brüder, und wir singen freche Lieder, oi, oi, oi. und wir halten sich in einem, oi, oi, sich in einem, als es ist nicht so bei keinem, oi, 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 wir seien alle einig, oi, oi, alle einig, wir seien viel zu wenig, oi, oi, oi. Und wir seien fröhlich munter, oi, oi, fröhlich munter, singen Lieder, tanzen unter, oi, 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 oi. Verenig alle, oi, oi, verenig alle, wieder chossen mit die Kalle, oi, 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 wieder komisch mit die Rasche, oi, oi, mit die Rasche, wieder Kockel mit die Kasche, oi, 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 oi.
Adon Olam is a song that we all know 500 different melodies to. This is a French Sephardic version that Sarah and I are going to do together. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'ed Nasa V'chefzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra, Ve'acharei Kichlo Hakol Levado Yimlo Nora, Ve'hu Haya, Ve'hu Hover, Ve'hu Yeh B'tifara, Ve'hu Natalie Young is one of the most popular new female composers. She's a cantor in Southern California, and she's written some beautiful pieces and some really fun pieces, and this is a beautiful, fun piece. Hallelujah, Psalm 150. So, of course, probably the most famous female composer of Jewish music is Debbie Friedman of blessed memory. I had the privilege of sitting next to her in Cantorial school for a year, and we used to sing and harmonize together. Very often she would come to me and say, I wrote this really neat song. I want you to sing it with me and make up harmony. So we used to do that all the time, and it was really fun. So Sarah and I are going to do L'chilach, and she's going to make up harmony. L'chilach, to a land that I will show you. Lech lecha, to a place you do not know. L'chilach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. L'chilach. L'chilach. And I will make your name great. Lech lecha, and all shall praise your name. L'chilach, to a place that I will show you. L'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'simchat chayim, l'chilach. And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. L'chilach. Debbie Friedman has written so many pieces of Jewish music, from the sacred to the profane. She's done Havdalah, she's done Miriam's song. I'm not singing either of those. She's written Oseh Shalom. She's written about 4 Michamochas. If you open the back pages of almost any modern prayer book, you will see Debbie Friedman, Debbie Friedman, Debbie Friedman. Her Misha Berach is probably the classic example of Misha Berach done in Reform congregations. But I'm going to do one of her more sacred pieces for Hanukkah. I am so mixed up that I cannot tell you. I'm sitting in this blender turning brown. I've made friends with the onions and the flour, and the cook is scouting oil in town. I can't help wondering what will come of me. I can't be looking as I do. I need someone to take me out and cook me, or I'll really end up in a royal stew. I am a Latka, I am a Latka, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. I am a Latka, I am a Latka, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. Or there's this one. Happy Thanksgiving, hooray, hooray, hooray. Aren't you glad you're not a turkey on this Thanksgiving Day? Hey, happy Thanksgiving, hooray, hooray, hooray. Aren't you glad you're not a turkey on this Thanksgiving Day? And there's one more that I really do love. And it's the first Debbie Friedman song I ever heard over 40 years ago. I won't date myself. It goes like this. Im tirtzu, And I'm going to invite Sarah up here one more time. And this time I'm going to sing and you're going to watch her do sign language to our closing song. It's not written by a woman, but it certainly fits the theme of our performance, which is the music of the diaspora. And since the diaspora is all around the world, we're going to sing "The Whole World is a Very Narrow Bridge." Kol ha'olam kulo. Kol ha'olam kulo geshet tzar me'od, geshet tzar me'od, geshet tzar me'od. Kol ha'olam kulo geshet tzar me'od, geshet tzar me'od. Now all you have to do is clap. Ve'ha'ika, ve'ha'ika, lo lefacheka, ve'ha'ika, ve'ha'ika, lo lefacheka. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge. But the main thing to recall is to have no fear, to have no fear at all. But the main thing to recall is to have no fear at all. Ancient word, la 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 la. Here we go. La 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 la
So I'd like to thank all of you for joining us this evening. I particularly would like to thank Julia. Julia, show your face. You don't have to be just WRJ Pacific District. She's been amazing, and her patience when I had to say, Julia, there's been a holdup. I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you as quick as I can. And she just put together this whole thing. It was wonderful. Sarah, you're amazing. You helped so much and you sounded wonderful too. And Wendy, this was your idea. So I appreciate it so much. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you again sometime in the future, hopefully in Tucson in October.
And Cantor, are we going to do a sing-along with the words?
We can do that. The problem is you have to stay muted in order to do it. So put the words up there and I'll just sing it along. Here we go.
Okay.
And you can look at each other and remember, even if you're muted, I'll still hear you singing. Here we go. Kol ha'olam kulo geshet tzar me'od, geshet tzar me'od, geshet tzar me'od. Kol ha'olam kulo geshet tzar me'od, geshet tzar me'od. Ve'ha'ikar, ve'ha'ikar, lo lefachet klal. Ve'ha'ikar, ve'ha'ikar, lo lefachet klal. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge. The whole world is a very narrow bridge, a very narrow bridge. Now do it on lie, lie, lie. Lie, 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 lie. Lie, 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 lie. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you to Heather and Marjorie and Alyssa and Bryce and Jacqueline and Sarah, and then Wendy and Julia and all of you for coming. Bye.
Bye, everybody.